Today on Delta Safari, Luke and I have another one of our top 5 lists. Today, it's the top 5 National Park Service lands that I've actually visited. Hey Delta, what does the National Park Service do?
It manages 424 areas of more than 85 million acres in every state, the District of Columbia, American Samoa, Guam, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands. These areas include national parks, monuments, battlefields, military parks, historical parks, historic sites, lake shores, seashores, recreation areas, scenic rivers and trails, as well as the White House.
Number 5. When I began this list, I made sure to title this Top 5 National Park Services Lands because 2 of the 5 aren't actually national parks. Beginning with number 5, is Talladega National Forest here in my home state of Alabama. On my most recent visit to the Talladega National Forest, I took Luke along for his first ever mountainous experience. And then we did something that this area has to offer. We hit part of the North Alabama Barbecue Trail because you know nothing is quite as sacred as that post-hike meal. And when I was putting the list together, one of the criteria that I used to determine the pecking order was surrounding attractions. What other things are there to do close by? And in Talladega National Forest, you have the forest itself, which is huge and breathtaking, but also the Cheaha Wilderness, Lake Cheaha, which is just beautiful, and all of that lies at the base of Mount Cheaha, the highest point in the state of Alabama and the southernmost tip of the Appalachian Mountain. With nearly 400,000 acres, it is possible to hike the entire Talladega National Forest and never see the same tree twice. Number 4. My first ever experience in a western landscape was in South Dakota. We were on a trip out west to visit my mother's family, and we stayed one night in Rapid City so that we could go see Mount Rushmore. Not only was Mount Rushmore the monument an incredible spectacle, I mean, it's a mountain that a man carved to look like 4 other men. But the surrounding area, again, there's so much to do. Custer State Park. You've got Devil's Tower a short drive away. You've got the historic town of Deadwood. And you've got an even more majestic mountain carved to look like a man in the Crazy Horse Memorial. I love the Black Hills, and that is why Mount Rushmore is number 4 on my list of top 5 National Park Service lands that I've visited. Number 3. My love affair with the Great Smoky Mountains began when I was very young. These were the first real mountains I had ever seen. And to this day, the Smokies still hold a very special place in my heart and in my memories. Ridge upon ridge of forest straddles the border between North Carolina and Tennessee in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, number 3 on my list. World-renowned for its diversity of plant and animal life, the beauty of its ancient mountains, and the quality of its remnants of southern Appalachian mountain culture, this is America's most visited national park. And it is easy to see why. The Smokies are just iconic. Many people don't know it, but the Smokies are actually a rainforest, and that is what gives it such an incredible biodiversity. If you're into hiking, the Smokies are a pinnacle. You can feel the cool spray of a waterfall, or camp under the stars, or explore a historic mill. There's plenty to see and do in this park. Take, for instance, Cades Cove, one of the most popular trails in the park. You can enjoy wildlife viewing, visit historic homes and churches, and beautiful mountain scenery that you can bike or walk on an 11-mile loop trail. The Smokies are a wild space, and bears live in the park, and they are wild and their behavior can be unpredictable. Treat bear encounters with extreme caution. Do that, and you should greatly enjoy your time in the Great Smoky Mountains. Number 2. There are mountains, and then there are the Rockies. And there is no more quintessential view of the Rocky Mountains for most people than the 7 sisters of the Grand Tetons. Rising above a scene rich with extraordinary wildlife, pristine lakes, and alpine terrain, the Teton Range stands as a monument to the people who fought to protect it. These are mountains of the imagination. Mountains that led to the creation of the Great Teton National Park, where you can explore over 200 miles of trails, float the Snake River, and even enjoy the serenity of a remarkable place. When Catherine Lee Bates penned her poem that was later turned into the song America the Beautiful, she referenced Purple Mountain's majesty. She was specifically referring to the Rocky Mountains. Impressive is the best word to use to describe the park's extensive archives, historic preservation, and rich cultural history extending back more than 10,000 years when Paleo-Indians first visited the valley. Since then, many people have left their mark on this special place. Whether you're interested in geology, biology, or ecology, you can learn more about the parks through their natural resources and ongoing research. Wildlife is never far off in Grand Teton National Park. High in the mountains, a yellow-bellied marmot whistles a warning as a golden eagle soars above. Searching for insect larvae, a black bear rips into a rotten lodge pole pine log. On the valley floor, a herd of bison graze as a coyote trots through the sagebrush, looking for a meal. Along the Snake River, an osprey dives into the water with talons extended, rising with a cutthroat trout. In a nearby meadow, a moose browses the tender buds of willow growing in this rich environment. Grand Teton also contains the last working dude ranch within a national park, linked down below. As far as neighboring attractions go, how about the splendor of Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and of course, our number 1 on this list. Numero uno. On any list of national parks, there can only be one number one, and that would be the first national park in history, Yellowstone National Park. On March 1st, 1872, President Ulysses S. Grant signed the Yellowstone National Park Protection Act into law. This significant act established the concept of a national park. As stated in the original legislation, the Yellowstone area in the present-day Wyoming and Montana would be reserved and withdrawn from settlement, occupancy, or sale under the laws of the United States. This law has been named America's Greatest Idea because it invented the concept of the national park. And anyone who has ever visited Yellowstone knows why it was so important to protect this place. There is nowhere on earth quite like Yellowstone National Park. It is a beauty just from an aesthetic standpoint. It is a wonder from a geological or scientific standpoint. It is everything good about the American West, all wrapped up into one beautiful ticking time bomb. You see, Yellowstone is what is known as a super volcano, and it's a little overdue for an eruption. And it just goes to prove that the thing that makes something truly beautiful, truly special, is that it's temporary. So it's important for every American, in my opinion, to see Yellowstone in their lifetime. All of its beauty, all of life's beauty, is temporary. It's going to end. So try and see as much of it as you can before you're gone. At least that's my goal. There are so many incredible things that you must see in Yellowstone, like the Yellowstone River itself and the upper and lower falls that are just breathtaking. And of course, the geysers, especially Old Faithful and the beautiful Old Faithful Inn right next door to it. There's the Grand Prismatic Springs, Mammoth Hot Springs, and all of the amazing wildlife found in the Lamar Valley. Yellowstone, simply put, has no equal.
Hey y'all, Stu just went in there checking his subscription numbers, and could y'all please click the subscribe and the like button at the bottom. I feel so much better.